Now, more of Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Policy Institute, the only show directly addressing the problems and solutions for Illinois. Now, from AM 560, here's Dan Proft.
Dan Proft back with Pat Hughes, co-founder of the Illinois Opportunity Project, on this edition of Illinois Rising, the year-end edition of Illinois Rising. Thank you for joining us. And Pat, you posed a question about the risk, the productive political risk Ronner needs to take and to be a transformative governor. He needs to propose understandable and transformative ideas. He needs to take powerful stands, even though they are full of peril, because nothing is going to be given freely to Governor Ronner by the Democrat power structure in this city and state. That is a known. So the unknown is, well, why isn't he doing some of the things we suggest he should do? I mean, even if you don't want to pick the spot I suggest you pick, then another spot to kind of get to the same place.
So, I know Bruce a little bit. I certainly know his history in business, and he is not risk averse. You don't get to be in his position by being risk averse.
Right.
So he's obviously, even having been governor for the last couple of years and going through what he's gone, a trial by fire, he was not an experienced political person coming into this, although he had involvement in the political sphere and certainly in charitable work that was connected. I think that he's getting advice from people who don't want him to make the big mistake, who don't want him to take the too big of risk this far out when they can bleed out circumstances, see how the country moves. Maybe Trump will be enormously popular. Maybe circumstances will change on the ground. He knows he's going to be resourced because he can spend $100 million of his own money. Why take that risk? So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is, I always wonder how these people who are sort of advising political people, how tied to the policy they are. A lot of these consultants are part of the consultant class. So they work for Ronner and then that's over. And then they go to Kentucky and work for Rand Paul or whomever, right? So how tied are they to the growth, the ultimate growth and the sustainability to the state? Or are they really just focused exclusively on the reelection, which I know is part of their charter, but there's some larger structural things that might get missed. So I think it's a combination of those things.
Well, look, isn't that what Trump gave lie to, exposed in some respects, not just the non-elite elites, as Victor Davis Hanson terms them, but also the consultant class in D.C. Didn't need them, won without them, kind of new paradigm. Now, I'm not saying that's easily replicable, but I think what Ronner and his people lack is the sense of there is a revolt that is bubbling below the surface, and we need to figure out how to ignite it and leverage it, productively.
Right.
And I don't think they want to do that. I think they want to play the same old game and do so maybe unwittingly according to Madigans rules. This idea that they're bleeding the other side out. No, they're being bled out. They're the holdout, they're playing four corners. They're down 15. To use a tortured sports metaphor, they're down 15 and they're playing four corners. They're not up 15. And they'll we're going to make, because we have these resources, we're going to make Madigan and whoever the Democrat nominee for governor is in 18 more of a boogeyman than they can make me a boogeyman. Well, that's not the transformative leadership that was effectively his value proposition when he ran in 2014 and was elected on that basis, that he was an outsider coming into, lack of a better phrase, drain the swamp in Springfield, or cut down the cornfields,
right,
whatever, however you want to translate that to Illinois. And if he's just playing the traditional game the same way, less reform-minded, less transformationally inclined governors, Republican governors of the past, like a George Ryan or a Jim Edgar or Jim Thompson, if he's just going to play the game that's the same way they did, two bad ideas, let's split the difference and come up with, a bad idea we agree to, like the energy bill that he just signed. That's a good example of it. If that's the tack he's going to take, that's the Jim Edgar, Jim Thompson, George Ryan model of governance. That doesn't end well.
No, and it also bleeds out his initial reason for being elected. He's losing the outsider. He's lost. I mean, there's no way to run as an outsider anymore after some of these deals. The temporary budget he cut the energy bill, the fact that he's been battling with Madigan in Springfield for all these last couple of years. The outsider model is no longer going to work. He's going to have to show that his governance was progress, both in politically, which he's done a little bit with these races, but aside from politically, that people's lives are starting to or going to improve as a consequence of the fact that he's the leader of the state. And currently, can't point to that.
No, he can't. So where does that put him with the prospects of facing a Democrat challenger that will have as much money as he does? I mean, there's been rumors about J.B. Pritzker, who's a billionaire. Maybe Penny Pritzker. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a Pritzker primary on the Democrat side to see which.
There's a lot of Pritzkers who can run, who've got money.
There's no question. But I mean, so you've got Pritzkers. But even if it was a Congressman Sherry Bustos, she'll raise a ton of money.
Sure.
Or some other options the Democrats are considering. A state senator like Heather Staines. If you have some, as I've predicted before, the Democrats can clear the field and go with somebody like Bustos, kind of a 40-something, attractive, articulate, thin legislative record, so not a lot to hold on to. She comes from Central Illinois, kind of Republican base, and she's going to be able to telescope the Democrat base in Cook and right now large swaths of the collars, and you don't have a lot of air cover at the top, then Rauner's in deep trouble. And it seems to me they don't have a sense of urgency. He doesn't have a sense of urgency about the political trouble he's in because of the lack of policy risks he's taken.